Hello everyone, and welcome back to Call It Crits. It's been a couple of weeks, but we are finally back on the airwaves, or the Twitch waves, or the just the internet in general. The Mexican waves. Way. There we go. Someone joined. We're finally back. It's been a couple of weeks due to people being ill, and what was the first reason? Hang on. Oh,
I had a big deadline.
Oh yeah, we had ill people, we had deadlines, and then we had me off to go see Westlife, and I was in a world of my own.
That's like the third time you've made that joke now.
I know, and I'm gonna keep making it until it stops being funny.
And it won't.
Funny.
You should have stopped saying it 3 times ago then.
I think it gets funnier every time. You should do it more.
Note to self:
I'm just doing that.
do not drink tea while laughing. Right down the back of my throat. Oh, and the burn. Right, anyway, sorry. Doing the Twitter mic checks. Everything is working absolutely fine. So I'm glad that the internet is working as well, because last night my internet was out for most of the night. I don't know if anyone else on Karoo was having the same problem.
I was, and I wasn't on Karoo.
That's our local internet provider. My internet was out most of the night last night, which is annoying because I was supposed to be playing D&D. And
it's been affecting us as well.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed that I didn't get to play last night. So was it out for you as well? Did you say, Ash? Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. Anyway, so before we get into things, the really fast announcements, because I really want to get into playing some D&D. Check out Caprani Wheeler. They made awesome stuff. I'm going to keep mentioning them until we get 50 followers and I get to do my 8-hour thing, and then we get to be affiliates, and then we can do codes and stuff. But for now, Caprani Wheeler, check them out on Twitter because they are awesome. They also make dice, very nice dice for nice prices. Please check out Caprani Wheeler. What else? Do I need to mention today?
My fancy art by Feline Trickster.
Oh yes, the fancy art by Feline Trickster. Obviously I can't see. Oh yeah, you got it on. Oh yes, it's on. If you can zoom in, you can see if you look at Raojin's little icon on the Discord there. You can see that his fancy art by Feline Trickster. I do need to get the rest of Feline Trickster's artwork put up on here, like during the break, like where we show all the other artwork. So once I've done that, then you'll be able to see. That's whilst you're enjoying a cup of tea, whilst we're teeing and peeing. But you don't want that mental image.
Not at the same time.
Sorry?
Not teeing and peeing at the same time.
No, not at the same time. No, that could go drastically wrong. Not many people have kettles in their toilets.
Not many.
I mean, surely you know the difference between the toilet and a mug.
Yeah, sure.
I was not implying that I would get those two mixed up. I kind of thought it was just, what if you spill some?
Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah, it would burn.
Well, excuse me.
I didn't think that you would be drinking from the loo going, this tea tastes weird.
I'm going to honestly say that I have missed. I've missed D&D. It's like just to get together with you guys. It's I love the chats at the beginning of the sessions. Like just all the crap that comes out before we actually play. I love it. So yeah. Other things. What else shall I mention? I did post an advertisement for our for this in our Anime Board Game Society page. So if anyone's here from the Anime Board Game Society and you're watching, hi.
Hi.
There's a couple of us that sorry.
Hi, and apologies.
I really wanted to sort of advertise this on there because I'm planning on running some one shots, in person at the Anime Board Game Society. In the near future, in the new year, so wanted to, if anyone wanted to actually come and watch how it's done, or see my DMing style and thinking, no, I don't want to do that anymore, or whatever they want to think. But yeah, that's why I did that. Anyway, so I think we should get moving swiftly on because I want to get into tonight's game. And apologies, Jay, or AKA Grinks, will be joining us shortly as soon as he's finished his fatherly duties of dropping people off. So let's get in, because it's been a couple of weeks, so I'm going to try and do a bit of a rundown on what's been going on, but I might need you guys to help me fill in some of the gaps. So, you had a previous encounter which went, drastically out of your favour when you had something upon 200 archers trained on you with the vicious whisper threatening your lives, and that of Yule, who was able to teleport you into the Elladell Woods, but he, sadly, was not able to get through the portal in time. His fate is currently unknown. You managed to get through the Elladell Woods via a nicely placed Halloween special, and eventually make it to Elladell, where Ayla, various different things went on, and Ayla, you were presented with a choice, which was actually the title of the previous session, Ayla's choice, of whether you wanted to take on the trial of Anselm on behalf of the Elladell Woods, or on behalf of Elladell itself. This is a decision not to be made lightly, so you've been given time to make up your mind on this. So in the previous session, it was a little bit of a downtime session. Some of you went shopping. I believe things were purchased. There was there's a wood carvers who makes wooden weapons. You've got the you purchased, Fran, the daggers of sight, or otherwise named whatever you want them to be called. And
Grinks might have bought them for me, or
oh yeah, I think
Malrin bought them for you.
Oh, was it Malrin that bought? Yeah.
oh, Malrin, thank you.
Yeah, and there was also the in addition to that, there was a sword which had been crafted out of whitewood, which had been which had made its way through here. Also,
calling that Route in Spain unofficially. It's
Route
not
in
going to be its actual name.
there's also the obsidian lockpicks which were gifted to Sal by Grinks. And the Tome of Proficiency, which Grinks has purchased from one of the stores. I've just noticed that Grinks hath turned up. Hello. So I believe, where was it? You were at the Arcane Gateway when you purchased that, which is awesome.
Did that use up all of our gems then?
Before I was gonna get the agreement with everyone before we did that, but there's a loose agreement that I will give services rendered for that plus some gems.
Mm-hmm.
So you've Maldor at the Arcane Gateway is making this tome for you, which did you already receive, or were you going back to get it? I can't remember.
It's upon agreement from everybody else.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say it's been a minute, or several.
And I was gonna go with that shop fella to the outskirts of the venue, and we're gonna raise some dead so I can blast it and do the ring up.
Oh yes, he said that he would take you to create some fire elementals so that you could fight some fire elementals at some point and charge up your ring, which is certainly something you can do. Also, I remember specifically Malrin and Sal, you guys went and had a word with Valdin regarding, also suggesting that he tell you the truth. Regarding why he is so eager for Ayla to take the trial. His answer, simply put, is that he wants somebody on the throne that will be able to have some sort of balance, someone that is of both sides, and a little bit of a personal stake in it for him is that he himself has failed the trial of Anselm, and his mother has once sat on the throne. Sorry, grandmother. I
Was it
believe.
his grandmother?
Yeah, his
or-
grandmother had once sat on the throne, and not for very long.
Yeah, we got really suspicious of it, and it turned out he had very sort of nice, not at all horrible reasons for wanting Alar on the throne.
Exactly, but then he
I-
also
I
in that
still-
same. Sorry, go on.
I still feel a bit morally ambiguous using my abilities to read his mind and get him to be truthful.
Oh
But in
well,
the
if
same
it makes
breath-
you feel any better, Sal has no moral qualms about you doing that.
I
That's
think
good
you had
to know.
good
I think-
intentions, though.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I may
He
as well use my powers to advantage us.
in that same conversation, he also mentioned because you asked about like other travellers that had come through, and he mentioned that like not they are normally aware of travellers that come through because they're given the password for to get through like get past all the threats within the Elladale Woods, which unfortunately you weren't given because it was such a rush. And it was like one of the main threats, which is the Lonely Mist, which he specifically mentioned was that of Shay's design, something that Shay had created. Shay Winterborn, who's the cleric of the Temple of the Wild Mother. She's the one that was. She was. What's the word I'm looking for? She never really she was very impartial around Alar. She liked Alar. You know, it was never she never wanted Alar to be exiled or anything like that. You know, it was she's quite mutual on the whole situation. However, Alar would have had a better relationship with Shay on the council than anybody else. And then obviously at the end of the session, the Lonely Mists began to converge upon Alar, Ralgin, and Grinks. And that's where we ended the session. So we're actually going to come back into the session right now, where we're going to start with Ralgin. So, Ralgin, you find yourself alone, as per the effect of the Lonely Mist. The mist begins to subside, and you no longer find yourself within the woodland that you were in before, which is a slightly different effect to what you had, what had been done before. So the effect before is you were in the same woodland, the same place, but no one else was there. No, there's a big difference in the area that you're in at the moment. The trees are white with is it shimmering green leaves or is it brownish leaves on?
It's
I want to get it right.
It's sort of like very pale green leaves that have a faint white glow around them.
That'll be the one. So yeah, you found yourself in a similar wooded area, but it's all whitewood around you. There's a pathway that leads straight forward. It's similar to the pathway that you were just on. Some minor differences, and obviously the major differences of this is now a whitewood forest that you're in. The pathway leads just around a bend, and you can hear what sounds like regal music coming from the distance ahead of you. What would you like to do? So it's sorry, I just wanted to describe the music again. Sorry, it's almost like trumpets and almost like heavy drums. Not war drums, but almost like very, very regal trumpets and drums that are being played.
Who's here?
Just Ralgin.
Okay, well, first off, I would like to take in my surroundings,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like to do a nature check to see if this is the woods that I grew up in.
Okay. Give me a nature check.
Would would the difficulty be easier because I know those woods and I would recognize the path?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right. Oh, damn it. There we go. Come here, character sheet.
Probably good to have that handy.
Yes. So nature is. It's not fantastic. I mean, for me, it's not fantastic. 17.
All right. Okay. 17.
Yeah.
These are not the woods that you are used to.
Yeah.
These are not the woods that you're used to. These are certainly not the Ashen Oak woods. Certainly not. These are whitewood trees, but it's certainly not the Ashen Oak woods.
Okay. I'm going to clutch my bow, draw an arrow,
Mhm.
and just have them prepped.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep going along the path in the direction that I was heading. Now,
Okay.
before the shift,
Mhm.
was the path going straight on, or did it turn off?
It turned off. So
It
the path
did turn.
itself the path itself hasn't actually changed.
Okay. In that case, I will carry on along the path because it worked for me last time.
Absolutely.
And Raljin is not the brightest of boys.
So you keep on going forward and sort of curl around the bend, and as you get around the corner, the woods sort of open out and into what looks to be a garden. And as you sort of exit the what looks like the whitewood area, you turn around and you look and you notice that these whitewood trees, they're planted somewhere that isn't Ashen Oak. These have been planted in what appears to be like a royal garden. You look around, there's rose bushes, statues, hedge cuttings of different, it's definitely not Ashen Oak at all. And as you sort of, and you can hear the music, it's actually gotten louder and louder as you get to this area, and you can see sort of like just over a wall, which is dead ahead of you, a big grey stone wall, what appears to be different coloured smoke, sort of like coming out from the top of it. Green, yellows, and sort of like golden smoke, which is sort of like billowing out in different stripes, coming out from over this wall. And you can see what appears to be crowds of people dressed in really fine clothes, very fine clothes, walking towards a gate, and the gates are opening up and letting people in with two guards on either side. And in fact, the area is quite heavily guarded. You notice there's quite a lot of guards holding spears, sort of like patrolling the area and sort of like nodding their heads to guests that are coming through. And then you look down at yourself, and you are also wearing what appears to be your finest. You're no longer wearing your your traveling ranger clothes. You're now wearing your finest garb. You still got your bow, but you're wearing what appears like your finest clothes.
Okay. So that is a red silk shirt.
Shirt.
And on the back of it is the family crest of Woods, but within that crest, that is within the crest of a moon.
Okay.
So it represents both families, and the trimming to the design and to the sleeves and to the collar and the trim, it's all white gold.
Nice. Very nice. It's looking very debonair. What would you like to do at this point?
Am I still surrounded by mist?
No, the mist has cleared.
Okay, I will.
In fact, just give me a perception check.
Oh no! No.
What did you roll?
Nat one.
Oh yeah, there's no mist.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Right. I will approach cautiously because I don't remember getting changed for a fancy party. I'm clearly dressed for a fancy party, and there are other people at a fancy party, so maybe they know what's going on. And I will approach the fancy party people.
Okay. So as you're walking, are you approaching some of the fancy party people, or are you just walking alongside them?
I'm just going to look for someone just someone who's maybe not part of a larger crowd, someone I can just talk in a bit of. You know when you go into a party
Mm.
and you maybe you've just arrived.
Yeah.
And you just find the nearest person and you strike up a conversation, just like,
Okay.
oh, how do you know so and so? One of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
just
Give
one
me a quick perception check to see who you might see.
Oh, fuck off. Sorry. No, that's a 2 on the dice. So that is
Oh,
perception. I mean, I can add my proficiency, but that's still only 8.
Okay, so you look around and you're unable to find anyone standing alone. You notice that people tend to be coming in groups or in couples. There's quite a few men wearing their fine garb and women with the parasols. And most of the men have like swords by their side, like decorative. And so you see some groups of people that are sort of like groups of couples together that are walking in together. Some that are being chaperoned by they've got their own help with them as well. You see a couple. This is probably the smallest group you're going to get. A human lady and a human male. The human man has quite. He's got like a pale of skin. He's oldish. Probably put him in about his 50s. He's got a black and greying mustache and sort of like pointed goatee and sort of almost like combed, like bushy eyebrows, but they've been combed straight to look. It looks weird. And he's wearing a tri-quarter hat on his head. And the woman that's with him, presumably his wife, has sort of like curly red hair with like a decorative fascinator in there, and she has a parasol that she sort of carries on, which is stopping the sun from coming down on her, which is quite bright in the sky. She wears a long sort of like puffed out dress, which is sort of like a light pink colour. You approach them, and yeah, what would you like to say?
Hello.
Well, hello there, old chap. Are you here for the celebrations? Here for the coronation?
Yes. Quite right. Raljin. From Whitewood. From Ashen Oak.
Oh, Raljin. Oh, darling, it's the king's, one of the king's hands. It's. What are you doing out here, sir? Says, I was just speaking and educating my wife, Irene here, about. Sorry, I do apologise. I need to introduce myself. It's Eduardo Cunningham at your service, my sir. I am a little bit perplexed as to why you don't know why you're here. Are you okay?
Oh no, yes, I'm completely fine. Just meeting the fine people of the kingdom.
Wow, this is certainly something we didn't have with the previous monarch. Well, it's very refreshing. It's new. It's almost invigorating. It is. Of course, is there anything I can do for you, sir?
Yes. Just between you and me, and as you say, I'm one of the king's hands, apparently. What do you think of our new monarch?
Oh well, King Cyanodel promises to be one of the greatest, of course. Having passed the trial so quickly and effortlessly, and promising a legacy that will rival any others. We are very excited to hear his speech and to find out what new reign our new king will bring in.
And his appointment of someone of my heritage, because obviously not too many Underdark folk are in good favour with royals, surface royals at least.
Well, it's since I thought. Never mind. Maybe it's a test, Irene. There's plenty of drow that's going to be here at the celebration, sir. I thought you would have known about that.
Please, just humor me.
Oh well, of course. The uniting the kingdoms of Neilun and Anera together was one of the decrees that the new king put in place. Was it not?
Right. Yes. And sorry, uniting. If you'll excuse me, I do apologize. Plenty of people to meet, and
Of course.
time before the big moment. And I go, well, it was nice too. And then I just kind of walk away halfway through the sentence, looking very confused.
It was nice to meet you, Lord Arateeth Whitewood. And as you you kind of wander off, and as you turn around, you immediately bump into a familiar face. Relan, standing in front of you. She says, "Brother, what are you doing?"
What's going on?
You told me that you were heading out to the Whitewood to to gather your thoughts before your speech later on, but I didn't realise you were going to be this long. That the coronation's in minutes.
I agreed to do a speech. You know I'm not a good public speaker.
Well, that's just the kind of thing that happens when you're one of the hands of the king. You should have known this before going into it, before saying yes.
Well, something really weird is going on. The last thing I remember, I was in Aylar's hometown, and I was walking through a wooded area, and then everything went weird, and then I was out in that Whitewood forest, and what is happening?
She places her hand on your shoulder as if to calm you down, and she says, "I'm not going to. I don't want to try and humour you or patronise you, brother, at this point. But don't most weird things happen to you when walking through wooded areas?"
I mean, fair point.
Look, we have to go. Just come with me. And she grabs you by the arm and sort of like leads you in, sort of nodding and smiling politely, as other people are sort of like nodding and saying, "Good day, miss." Walking through. You get to the gates at the where everyone else is leading through, and there's two guards out.
Just as we're walking, despite being very confused, I can't resist the opportunity to take a jab at my sister, and I glance sideways at her and I go, "Really? That?"
But Mother picked it out.
Okay.
All right. Father picked it out. Anyway, she leads you in through up to the gates. As you walk up to the gates, just give me a perception check, please.
Oh yeah, because those have gone great for me so far.
There's no double proficiency now because you're no longer in a wooded area.
I don't get double proficiency on that anyway.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Oh, well, never mind. So that is 12.
12. Everything seems all right. Just you start walking towards the gates. The guards sort of nod as you're coming through, as they nod to most of the other guests, and it's very crowded. And you now notice that the green, gold, and yellow smoke appears to be coming from it's like pillars with almost like celebrations and like they're very decorated. That's kind of the theme that's going on: green, gold, and yellow, kind of all over the place. And the smoke is kind of coming from different pylons in different areas, which is making it it looks pretty. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on. As you walk through the gates, we're going to cut away from you, and we are going to go to Grinks. Grinks, are you there?
I didn't do it.
Grinks.
Well, I probably did, but I'm not taking any blame.
You wake up after. This is strange because 1 second ago you're in the middle of a wooded area, and you were sort of walking along. You find yourself alone, and then things sort of go hazy in front of you, and then you kind of black out a little. You black out completely, and the next thing you know, you wake up and you kind of shoot up in a bed. It's an Emperor-sized bed. It's huge, 4-poster, sort of like red curtains that come round by either side, and the curtains are actually closed around the bed. The mattress is spongy. The the shilts. The sheets are silk. The pillows are there's like 50 different pillows on the bed. And you yourself, I don't know how Grink sleeps, but you're either wearing fine pajamas or nothing at all. It's your choice.
Nothing at all. That'll track
Nothing.
with
Yeah.
how things have gone so far.
Yeah. So you're completely naked, and you just kind of sit up in this bed, and kind of look around. You're alone in this in what appears to be this room. You can just kind of see through what appears to be these curtains on this four-poster bed, which are all closed, and you can just kind of see through them, and you can see that there's some lanterns lit in the room, but it appears to be quite a large room, a large, very regal room, sort of like gold decorative, sort of like what's the word thingy around the ceilings, and massive windows which also let light in. However, the curtains on those are closed. And yeah, there's quite a lot of furniture in the room, which you can't see the full details of through the curtains, but you can see there's quite a lot of furniture in this room as well. What would you like to do?
This is most certainly not the worst place I've woke up. I don't remember having a drink, but there was that elven bed that had gone into Elar's dig, so there's a chance something might have happened. I don't know. I'm going to start rummaging around in the bed. Is my battered hilt there? My focus?
It's not in the bed. No. The only thing in the bed is you, sort of like in the middle of of what appears to be a mountain of silk sheets, which you slide around on as you try and move around.
I'll probably fall face first out of the bed.
You fall out of the bed onto a soft sort of like rug, which is sort of like what the bed is sort of sitting on. You notice that the bed is a beautiful sort of like dark wood, with very decorative dark wood. It's very solid bed. The rug that you've fallen is lovely and soft, and as you sort of get up and sort of like stretch yourself off and sort of look around the room, you now get a good visual of the room. It's quite an open plan. It's got seating. It's got bookshelves with what appear to be spell books, and all over the walls. There's or sort of like a bookshelf wall with like spell books and books about the arcane arts. There's what appears to be like an apothecary table within your room, which you can use, which has been well used, and you also see the sort of like cupboards, which would presumably hold clothes and things, as well as a wash basin, and a separate sort of like room to the side, which you presume is a lavatory.
I'm going to look around. Is there any sign that anybody else is in this room, or like nicks or anything like that?
No nicks in this room, and there's no one else in this room. The one thing you can, another detail I should probably mention, is you can hear music. It's almost like trumpets playing, and the sound of drums, and what also appears to be what sounds like a building crowd of people, which seems off in the far off distance, and that noise is coming from outside your window.
I'll just wander over to the window then.
Okay, you wander over to the window. The curtains are closed at this point. Beautiful, sort of like red, heavy-set curtains, which block out most of the light, apart from the light that seeps through the sides. So you can tell it's definitely daytime. Are you peeking through the curtains?
Do I still have my daylight ring on?
Yes, you do still have your daylight ring on. Yes.
I'm just going to throw the curtains open. I'll stand there in all my drow glory.
Okay, you just throw the curtains open of this full-length window, and quickly.
Turns out you're on the ground floor.
No, you...
Look, the Emperor's new robes.
and you.
The worst way I've people have found me. Let's be fair.
You throw open the curtains and look out, and you are on the second floor. What you do notice is there's outside in the in what appears to be a courtyard. There aren't people directly outside your window. There's like what appears to be almost like a long green garden area full of trees and hedge trimmings and stuff. And you can see just over in the distance what appears to be a whitewood cultivated area, which has been grown there specifically. And as you sort of look out, you can also see like the smoke, yellow and gold and green smoke and decorations, which appear to be for some sort of celebration, as well as obviously bands and music playing at this time. Yeah, you're looking out.
Do I recognise any of this?
You
I've never
recognise
been near it.
none of this. None of this. You are in a completely strange place. Completely strange. None of this is recognisable to you.
I'll try. Will I remember the mist closing in?
You do, absolutely. This is the last thing that you remember, and any knowledge that you may have of the mist is completely yours. You know, it's entirely up to you. You are not under any sort of charm or trance by this.
Okay.
There's nothing to make you believe
Mist to
anything.
me. I know it didn't work last time.
Okay, so you try to snap Nyx to you. As you do, Nyx flies in and perches on your shoulder as you stand there, start nude in front of the window.
I'm just going to give her the biggest hug. Where are we?
Ah,
I'm aware I'm talking to a raven.
I don't know.
Clothes, alcohol, potions. We'll raid the potions,
Okay.
and then we'll get out of here.
You see Nyx sort of fly around, and she sort of flies around past one of the wardrobes, kind of brushes it with one of her wings, then flies around, comes around, lands on the apothecary table, then hops down underneath the apothecary table and sort of like taps the cupboard underneath it and kind of pulls it open with her beak, and underneath you see a glorious stash of fine whiskies and rums and very expensive alcohols.
If this is Vylov fucking with me again, I'm going to kill him twice. I'm just going to hoard them and put them on the bed, and I'm going to take a pillowcase and I'm going to put them in the pillowcase and try and kind of improvise some sort of carry bag for them.
Okay. So you start doing that. As you're doing that, you hear a knock at the door. Sir, I know you told me to go away about an hour ago because you wanted to sleep in, but the hour is of late, and you are due to meet with His Majesty in 10 minutes. What would you like me to tell him?
I had a really good night last night.
That's likely that he'll believe that, sir, but it is his coronation day. So, I think he had this conversation with you that you mustn't be late today.
Okay. I'm going to just rush to get ready. I'll pull some clothes out. I need to look like I can fit in because it looks like this is a posh place.
Indeed it does. As you open up your cupboard, there is no semblance of any of your the clothes that you were wearing when you were wearing normally. Everything in there is of fine fabrics and fine design. There's nothing in there that's shabby at all. It's all freshly pressed.
My hat.
Your hat is there. Yes. Your coat is not.
Okay. Is my hilt there and my bag?
There's a trunk at the bottom of the wardrobe, and as you open it up, you notice that your hilt is indeed there. It's actually, as you open up the trunk, in the top of the trunk there is it's like a glass encasing with a little like a keyhole there as well, and it's the hilt is actually affixed in the top of the trunk and looks like it hasn't been moved from there in a while.
shouldn't have sell those lockpicks. Is there any keys around that I can use? Anything that immediate? Anything around my neck?
Give me a perception check.
No, that is 7.
So you're in a bit of a panic. No, you can't see any keys around at this very moment. No.
Okay, so I know where it is. I'll come back to it in a second. I'm going to finish getting ready because if someone busts in, I need to not look guilty. So I'm feeling very guilty right now, and I don't know why.
So are you ready yet?
I'll throw some pants on. I'll open the door.
Very good, sir.
Almost. Second opinion. Which shirt? And I'm just going to hold up 2 shirts.
The red one, so it matches your eyes.
I'm going to turn it round, and does it have a gaudy arrow teeth symbol between the shoulder blades?
No, there's nothing like that. No.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know which trajectory this was on, so it was a reasonable question. So I'll put the red shirt on. I presume there's nice boots.
Yes, there
I've
is.
lost my key. I need my key for this.
And you points down to the hilt.
Yep.
You haven't used that since you took up the archivist's staff, sir. I mean, I can point you to the key box, and he points on the wall, and there's this box which actually says keys in Elvish across it.
A really, really fine drow vintage last night. Things are incredibly fuzzy. Where's my staff?
There, sir, and just attached to the side of the wardrobe, just as you stood at the door, you turn around, you can see it. It's sort of like mounted just on the wall to the side of the wardrobe, and you see this really nice what appears to be like staff of the staff of the archivist. There, hang on, try. What's it called? The staff of. We've got its name.
The Archmagi?
That's it. Staff of the Archmagi. On the wall. It says
Oh.
and it has on it like a royal crest in the middle of it, like engraved into it.
I'm gonna go grab that and my hat and try and not look as though I'm more happy than I should be.
Are you really going to wear the hat with that, sir?
I'll put the hat on and I'll do the disguise self just to give it a nice big red feather.
Very well, very well. If you'd like to come with me, sir, I'll take you to the Royal Hall, where things will hopefully kick off, and His Majesty should be there soon. He kind of invites you through the door to go with him. Can you just give me a perception check, please?
Oh, that's better. So 16 on dice, and that is 17.
Okay. You notice there's a slight shimmer through the as you sort of like look through the door, and the person on the other side, as you can notice, is slightly distorted. It's not really obvious, but to a trained magical eye, you sort of notice something.
Okay, so mechanical question, Phil. Do I have my spell slots back?
Yes.
Because, okay, so in that case then, I'm going to use my Detect Magic, which I can use at will because of Drow High Magic.
Mm-hmm.
And what do I see? Is he magical?
It's not that. It's more, you get an illusionary aura. Almost like the area that you're in, very illusionary. And almost like stepping through is into a separate illusion. Almost it's like illusions upon illusions. You, for your own magical knowledge, know that it is very difficult to place someone in an illusion that spans more than 30 feet. However, this one is obviously spanning much larger, and it's almost like what you can see is a break between those two illusions, as if there's another illusion that you would be stepping into.
Okay. I'm going to try and cast something under my breath. So I'm going to go for sending, and I'm going to be sending Raljin a message.
Okay, go for it. What are you sending?
I just need to find it, so I need to... So it's visual, semantic, and material. So if I'm grabbing the staff, I presume I could have grabbed my components pouch as well while I was there getting ready.
Yeah, it's all there.
Okay, sweet. So sleight of hand, which would be 17.
Mm-hmm.
And under my breath, we're not in Westera anymore. Ralgin, help!
Eladel,
I
that you
didn't
mean?
do it. I was
Ralgin.
going for not in Kansas, but
Oh yeah. So yeah, you're not in Eladel anymore because it was Eladel that you were in, not Westera. Ralgin, you hear Grinx's voice come through to you with that specific message.
Okay. Can I reply? I'm gonna try and reply.
Go for it.
I reply, yes, I know. We're at the royal palace, and Ayla is being coronated. Please help. What is going on?
so I'll pretend to stub my toe and just say, "Oh shit," and then I'll cross the threshold. I have no idea what's going on, but I've got a nice shiny staff.
Okay, you cross
components out.
the threshold, and then I'm going to cut away from you, and I'm going to go to Malvin and Sal because I'm going to make Ayla squirm for a little bit. So Malvin and Sal.
I'm not squirming.
Malvin and Sal, you two are just making your way from. Hang on, if I can put it on the map on here. You were at was it the Phoenix? Well, hang on, where were you? I can't remember now.
The wood carvers.
Oh, you were at yes, you were at the Arbor Carpentry, weren't you?
Across the
Yeah,
bridge,
and
hadn't they? And
we went
doubled him.
after interrogating
Yes.
the Lord, and then we were walking back past it.
Yes. So you were down at the sort of the bottom of the map, quite close to the Blushing Branch Inn at this moment. So you were heading back to where was it you guys were going to?
I wanted to check out the library, but I don't think we'd actually discussed anything in terms
I
of
don't think we've
the plan.
discussed anything either. I'm happy to follow you wherever. I'm completely lost and I don't know what's going on, which is in character and out.
Is Sal saying that out loud?
Maybe.
Which is in character and out. What are you
Yes.
talking about? Yeah.
I know, it's strange. It's almost like I feel like I've not been here for weeks, and yet it's been seconds.
Welcome to
I
D&D.
would-
But I'm happy to follow you to the library and see what that's like, or go and spy on someone, find the others, whatever.
Let's
I
go
feel like
to
I
the
need to be
library.
on my best behavior so I don't insult these elves.
I would agree. Let's not insult anybody. I think if we walk to the library, I'd like to see what sort of information this town stores.
Yeah.
I know that the Lord was particularly honest, and I got no suggestion of anything else. But I am also always suspicious, in particular when we show up at a place with magical wards. Sent here as we're in the midst of combat with an ancient elf who is also involved in this settlement, and then they offer his half-brother the throne, or a chance for the throne. I'm very dubious. But
Yeah,
I don't...
It seems like they've too easily gone from treating him with absolutely no respect to telling him they'd love him to be king. And
Yes.
I just feel from my own personal experience that people will usually hide their disrespect of you if they want you to like them. So the tonal shift is odd to me.
Yeah, it caught me off guard immediately, but I feel our adventures have made me very suspicious of people who are too friendly to us.
Oh, I've
Maybe-
always been suspicious of everything. It's just part of the old background. I don't know if you were even here when we were discussing. Oh, I can't remember. Lead on.
No, all I remember of our adventures is that we found you amongst the brambles, and you've been by our side ever since.
Oh yes. So the whole city thing.
I may have been away on my errands for
Oh,
5 days.
the whole going in the water thing. You know what? It's quite
No.
refreshing. Just sorry. Don't pay any attention to me. I'm just gonna enjoy the company.
You are more than welcome to enjoy the company. I'm going to suggest, if you are willing, of course, Sal,
Mm-hmm.
that we go to the library, and I'm curious to read up on the Windweaver family. Something
The what?
both. The Windweavers are the lineage that the gentleman who just interrogated and his brother who we just purchased the weapon.
Or is it the Wind Speakers?
The
Yeah.
wind
Which-
speakers.
Yes, the
Windweaver
Windweavers
was
are
a
different
wizard
family.
in
Yes.
near Berto.
Do you think they'll have information on all of the families of the council? Because perhaps this
I suspect
wind
so.
speaker is not the only one whose relatives have a history in the royal line.
Yes, I would suspect that there's more at play here than pure altruism, and I think a trip to hit the books would not be a bad idea.
Yes, I'm happy to assist you with that.
Okay.
It's not my speciality, but I don't know what else to do here, apart from take pot shots at people. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
And I'd just like to, that's amazing, love it. Just to let you know, guys, we've just hit 30 followers on Twitch, which is really cool. Just got a big thing on there, which is amazing. So thank you to our 30th follower who's come to join us tonight.
Yay!
So you guys, I'm going to say that you guys make your way through the rest of Elladel, and you eventually get to the Athenaeum, which is the library slash sort of like bookstore and other things. And it's a 2-story building. Which is it's got like its own little garden outside with like benches and like picnic benches as well, and sort of like nice double doors, red double doors, which lead as you enter through them and lead into sort of like a library reception area, and sort of like just shelves upon shelves of books everywhere. It's almost like open as you go in, so the reception area leads to books which go right to the back wall, and then 2 staircases which leads up to a mezzanine area on the top, with a big wooden chandelier on top of it, which has candles on it. Don't get me onto health and safety on that one. But it's protected. Which sort of leads up to sort of like more bookshelves up at the top. As you sort of enter as well, you notice there's a few people in here, which a few heads turn as you walk in, and all elves here, and just at, sort of like on the desk, someone who is sort of like, he's kind of leaning on the desk, and he appears to be writing or making notes in a big brown heavy ledger. As you walk in, he's quite a skinny elf. He's wearing like glasses, sort of like round rim glasses, and has sort of like quite a short haircut with braids that come around into like a little ponytail at the back, which is tied with sort of like a blue like not bobbly can, I think, but like tie in his hair. And he's got a piece of like slate inside wood, what would be essentially a pencil, behind his ear. And he turns and sees you coming in. And as you sort of like walk towards him, he says in a quiet and hushed tone voice, "Welcome to the Athenaeum. how can I help you today? If there's anything you need, any specific books or titles or genres that I can point you in the correct direction, you need only to ask. My name is Neonin. I'm the bookkeeper here at the Athenaeum.
I will respond in Elvish and I'll say, hello, Neon. I am Morin, and this is Sal. We are after some books, primarily on the trial of Anselm, but also if you have any tomes regarding noble lineages of Eladbel and the surrounding area. Also, is there somewhere I can park my armor?
Of course. It's a very strange design. I've never seen anything quite like this. Of course. You can certainly place it here by the desk, I guess. As long as it's not noisy, is it?
Not even remotely. Did you hear me come in?
No, actually. It's rather impressive. Of course, we do have books on the royal lineage and that of the trial of Anselm, or should I say, sort of written diaries on the trial. Of course, no one is allowed too much information regarding the trial, and a lot of it is kept rather neatly under wraps via the kingdom. And the trial itself changes every time the lineage changes. But what we have is obviously that of when people that we know of have taken the trial and their first-hand accounts. We do actually have some we do actually have some stories about the trial of Anselm which come straight from Eladel itself. First-hand stories. If you ever speak to Lord Valdin, he himself has taken the trial. Sadly, was not successful. But his grandmother before him was successful. Went by on the lineage of the Windspeaker lineage, and she was known as Queen Dashana Windspeaker. Ruled around about 200 years ago. Yes. That's obviously just the footnotes. You can certainly get more information if you read the books, of course. Would you like me to
Brilliant.
show you where they are?
Absolutely. And with that, I'll step out of my armor. I will remove my spell shard and also remove my free acquirer's coins.
Okay.
I'll put the coins into my hand and my spell shard into the other.
Okay. Okay, and you, he leads you up the stairs. Says, we at the Athenaeum have taken great care at cataloguing and collecting as much knowledge as we can.
As all good libraries should.
Absolutely, and we ensure that it is recorded and catalogued, and it's ready for everyone to read. Knowledge should be ready available for anyone who desires it. There's very few remnants of knowledge which are not for everybody, but obviously it's not my decree to say whether it is or not. But for what we have, it is for all of you to. You can read all of it, either of yourselves. As he's speaking, as he's sort of like walking down, says, "This shelf," and it's quite a jam-packed shelf full of books. Most of these books will have information on the subject of which you speak, royal lineages going back around about 500 years. Since the birth of the kingdom. We do have some books from before then. However, it's not prehistoric, but the information from before the kingdom came is a bit more sporadic and not as well collated together and not as well kept. So what we have is what we've found out since and put together ourselves. If you need anything, let me know. You may use this desk, and if you need any paper or ink or it takes the wood with the slate inside, or what I like to call a pencil. You can absolutely take those to make notes of whatever you need. I'll be downstairs. Call me if you need anything.
Thank you kindly.
Okay, so
will pocket a few pencils.
So there's little pots on the table, and it's like twigs which have been sort of sanded down, so you can still see some of the little stumps on them. And so it's almost like a little hole has been drilled down, basically a pencil. A little hole has been drilled down, and a piece of slate has been put into there. It's not the strongest of writing, because slate on paper it makes a very faint line, but it's efficient at writing. Graphite hasn't been. It's been tried with things like with like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Lead.
Not lead. Not, what's the word I'm looking for? God, I can't even remember. With
Yeah.
charcoal. It's been tried with charcoal and stuff, but it gets messy. There are charcoal pencils out there, but this one's specifically made with slate, which does make a mark on quite thick paper, which is what has been given to you. There is also a feather quill on the table as well.
I'll have that too.
Feather quill with like a little like metal nib on the end of it.
Yeah, nice.
yeah.
Could stab someone with this. Brilliant.
So,
Dual rolls.
if what are you looking for specifically, Maureen?
So first thing I'll do is I'll turn to Sal,
Yeah.
and I'll say to her, what languages can you write in?
Well, I can write in Common, Elvish, Undercommon. I suppose I could. There's Thieves' Cant, which isn't really it's not really written so much as it's a bunch of weird symbols.
I have the ability to read Thieves' Cant. A friend of mine who no longer travels with us taught me how to read it.
Wow,
I'm gonna make,
that's good
I'm
to
going
know.
to-
I can
I'm gonna
always
make a suggestion.
send you some
Yeah.
signals.
Yes, if you could write some notes in Thieves' Cant. Again,
Yes.
I feel like I'm being overly suspicious. But
Oh yes.
feel
I mean,
it's my
it's
duty to
it's quite basic. We're not going to be able to put the ISBN numbers of the books or anything like that.
Then we'll create the ISBN.
Oh wow, I like the way you think.
So with that, Maureen is going to take his spell shard, and in one, you'll see, Sal, you've probably not seen this being used in great depth. In one hand, he's felt the spell shard is like sort of resting against his palm and onto his wrist. On the other hand, he's got the book that he's reading, but his eyes have sort of glazed over, as the book he's reading, the information is being transferred across into the spell shard.
Which is cool.
So the first book I will read for that is specifically, I'd like to read the accounts of Lord Valdin, sorry. Lord Valdin Windspeaker, and then his grandmother's, anything of his grandmother's accounts or information regarding her short reign.
Okay.
They're the two main things I want to pick up. There is something as well I want to drop in, just as a story bit, I guess.
Okay.
I should have cleared it with you before. It's only a little thing. But
You know I'm open to anything.
I do. So as Maureen's sort of filling in this information, he's going through the spell shard. Now, spell shards are like books within crystals, so they generally have about 300 pages per spell shard, which Maureen can make a whole bunch of them, but he can only be attuned to one at a time. So as he's making the notes through, he sees within the spell shard some other notes that he didn't make, and it's written in Naga. He stops for a second, sort of draws a line around it using concentration, and boxes it off. He's intrigued, but will return to it when he has more time to concentrate on it.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to include for now.
Okay. No, that's cool. I like that.
Cool.
And yes, so with that, I'll just be picking up
Okay.
any information about the wind speakers that I haven't already received off Alvin, and basically copying the book.
Footnotes that you're going to get from this is you get the information that around about that Queen Deshara Windspeaker was the first of Elven descent and first of the tribes that became part of the kingdom to ever both take and succeed the trial of Anselm. it was quite a monumental occasion when it happened, because it was like a first for the kingdom. It did put a divide within the kingdom. Some people thought that it shouldn't have been. Some people were very welcome of it because it would have brought about a change, especially after the somewhat tyrannical reign of King Micah Jorvail II before her, whose reign was ended rather quickly via assassination. So King Micah Jorvail II was killed by something that no one could see, but he seemed to be very scared of it, and his reign lasted a mere 7 years. So Deshana Windspeaker was the first elf to sit on the throne. She was a good queen, by all accounts. There's lots of information that you can find that she wanted to bring about a good legacy. She had 3 children that she hoped to take the trial after her, and sadly, her reign was brought short due to an illness which took her life.
So, just so I understand the monarchy system a bit more, it's an elected monarchy then, so it's not hereditary.
So it doesn't go by bloodline. However, bloodlines get the first chance at taking the trial, and it's not elective. It's only if someone passes the trial. Essentially, if you are a king or queen that sits on the throne and you have children, your children will get first chance at taking the trial of Anselm. No one else can take the trial of Anselm until they've failed, basically. So Deshana had 3 children, but obviously none of them actually got a chance to take the trial because she passed away, and the trial opened up to other royal houses. The next ruling royal house afterwards was Taisirian Jorhoth, who was a direct relative cousin of King Micah Jorvail II, who had ruled before Deshana Windspeaker.
So 2 rulers dead in a row in such a short span. Is there a caretaker position, or somebody who acts like... I know you've obviously mentioned that Alar will have us as a council, but is there like a formal role, like a vizier would be in the Ottomans, if we use a real world example?
Yes.
There's somebody like that who's a caretaker and administrator of the royal house and the throne?
So should a king or a queen tragically pass before the trial of Anselm has been passed, the caretaker of the throne would not be one of their relatives. It would be a third party who would take an oath to only hold on to the throne until a new king or queen has been chosen via the trial. Give me an investigation roll.
Cool. Can I do it with advantage?
Yes.
Awesome. That's a 12 plus 3. That is a 15.
Okay. So, there's the caretaker of the throne was a human male who went by the name of Fairfax Rowland. He's obviously no longer alive. But yeah, he was the caretaker of the throne, and he looked after the throne for, it was a few months before King Jorhoth the first, King Taisirian Jorhoth, took over after Queen Deshana.
And did this Roland have a role in the administration after? Like, did King Jorhoth give them something?
Fairfax would always sit on the council. Yeah, he was a member of the king's king, or the royal court, as the caretaker of the throne would be, and would also play somewhat an advisory role.
Who's the current advisor? there a current one?
Yeah, there is, and I've got that in my notes somewhere. Because it was mentioned a
Alright,
long time ago. And
I'm doing this thing I always do where I ask 1,001 questions.
it's absolutely fine. I like it. Because it means I get to go back at my notes and think, damn it, where was it?
Yeah, I'm taking advantage of remembering some of this stuff and then learning some new bits as well. So
Yeah.
if it's quiet, it's because they are learning from Mulrin and enjoying having some quiet time.
Because it was right back. If I can't remember it, I just have to listen to the episode where you where with the giant stone monsters attacking Westera, because it was that person that was basically the one that spoke to Kai and told him to give up the town. I can't find his name. Where's his name? Must find it. Must find it.
So, with this cell, with the caretaker of the throne clearly holds a lot of power, and I'll be curious to see if there is some possibility that the caretaker of the throne is the one responsible for removing the king or queen if they're not aligned to the agenda. Now, obviously, as you know, I have my suspicions about there being a draconic influence in the running of this realm. We have encountered a green dragon who wished for one of our colleagues to run the trial of Anselm as their representative. They were attempting to gain information from us very early on in our adventures.
Yeah.
So I suspect that we cannot trust the caretaker.
No.
And I would wonder if historically the caretaker comes with its own role that is not discussed, because kings can't rule alone, queens can't rule alone. They have to have keys to power. And ultimately, the last thing I want is for our mighty half-elf friend to be put into a position of near certain death.
Yeah. Is there any information about the illness that took the queen? Perhaps I could find some books on different poisons, see if anything like that.
That's a good idea. I'll help you with that.
Can I do some sort of, I guess, check to find some books on, if not poisons, then some sort of herbalism?
Well, tell you what. Do you want to first of all do an investigation to see if you guys can find the details of the illness?
Yes.
I will help. In fact, have you got a higher intelligence?
I've got a +5 investigation.
Amazing. Yeah, I'll give you advantage then.
Ooh, advantage would be great because I rolled bad.
Sorry, what did you roll?
With advantage?
Yeah.
I got a 21.
Nice. Extra detail, I found the name. So the current advisor to the king who sits on the council, who would be caretaker if anything should happen to King Caspian, is Tyron Mormakar.
Tyron
Mormakar.
Tyrone Mormakar.
Looking for like the details of how Queen Dashana Windspeaker passed away, it appeared to be a quick fever that took her, and it was sort of like burning hot to the point where she almost I'm trying to say what's the word, almost burnt up from the inside when something was when investigations were done into her death and an autopsy was done, it looked like her insides had just burned and crisped up, like she'd been set on fire on the inside.
Okay, I don't think that's a natural death.
No. Just in case, because of the possibility of magical illness and all
I think it's very much magical. Unless
Yeah.
she drank some very hot sauce. I think it's magic.
I do have a funny tale about drinking hot sauce.
Oh,
Apparently,
I really want to hear it.
Oh, Grandar Aylar's back.
I want to hear it so badly. I miss
Sorry,
you
Grandad,
so
sorry,
much.
Grandad
I've been
Morin.
playing myself
Grandad
the
Morin.
ladder
Yeah.
story over and over again to fill the void, but it just wasn't the same.
Nothing to do with me, Roljin.
Sorry, that was a slip of the tongue.
we'll
So-
save that story for another time because it's not
Oh.
fresh enough.
Oh,
I am
There.
curious. Can I do a medicine check, please, Phil? Just to confirm if there's some form of natural, like a tropical illness.
You absolutely
some kind of
can.
infection.
Yes.
Yeah.
can I assist in that, or should
Yeah,
I do a
yeah,
separate
yeah. Sal can absolutely do an assist if you like.
assist?
So you roll with
That's
advantage.
what we'd like.
You
Typical.
what?
About. I got natural 20, Phil, on the advantage. That's like 28.
Yes, very nice. I like it. You do sort of like have a. There doesn't appear to be any. The cause of death and was mysterious and unknown. The autopsy revealed something that people had never seen before. However, you have
Okay.
almost recently,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and it was.
bugbears.
Yeah.
It was when you the bugbears, well remembered. So when you with the red dragon disease. This appears to be a much more refined version of it, because the red dragon disease that you've seen before obviously was out of control, whereas this one, the cause of death, burning up on the inside and everything else, it appears to have been a lot more refined than the version that you've seen. So it's almost like the version that you've seen is almost like someone trying to recreate that.
Concentrated version of it, and somebody's attempted to make it back, so somebody will have medical records regarding that. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Other notes
With
that you
that-
other notes that you find out before I shift on over to Ayla, who's been sitting very
Mhm.
patiently whilst we've been
it's
doing
okay.
this.
It's okay. It's very interesting.
You also find that Valdin, who had taken the trial, went by the name Windspeaker right up until the point where he failed the trial. At which point he did change his name to Hamming, because and official sort of like accounts and little diary entries and stuff that you read, a lot of them point to shame. And he didn't want his name to be he didn't want the Windspeaker name to be known with failure, so changed his name. So so he now goes by Valdin Hamming rather than Valdin Windspeaker, and he just chose but from what you read, he just chose the first name he put his finger on, and that was it.
So before we jump over to Aylar, and not just so it gives you like a build up for the next time, Orin, without saying anything, just muttering to himself, I'd like to go and find a book on the hierarchies and associations of red dragons. So anything to do with cults or formal religious worship. Basically, I want to find out if they've got a power structure who's going to try and do this sort of nonsense to people.
Okay.
And Sal would, even though it's been established as a disease, I still would like to find some information on different poisons and if there is one that recreates the same symptoms as dragon sickness.
Okay, I like it. That's good. So I'll come back to you guys soon. Now, guys, I'm just going to ask this question before I move on. Do you want to take a break, or would you like to carry on through until we finish?
I mean, I'm good if everyone else is.
I'm
Happy.
good. I might mute so I can make some tea, but I don't have
Okay.
to stop.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put myself on mute, I don't mind.
Okay. Everyone else all right with that? If we just keep on going?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Excellent. So we'll go through to you, Ayla. So, Ayla, the mist is the last thing you knew. The mist was sort of converging on you. You know what this means. You're very aware of the mist because you've lived here and you know what it is. And very similar thing. You kind of like lean against the first tree you see so you can get your bearings. And as the mist sort of like clears, you're no longer leaning up against a tree. In fact, what's going on is you hear like gasps from all around you as you kind of lift your head up and look around, and you appear to be in a large hall. Your hand is up against a pillar, and you're sort of like looking upon sort of like a few hundred people in front of you. You turn around and you notice sort of behind you, that you're on a set of stairs, walking down some stairs, and the gasps appear to come from the fact that it looks like you've tripped and you're about to fall and you've caught yourself. A hand sort of grabs hold of your side, a big half-orc that sort of stands beside you and says, "You all right, sir?" I was going to go Gareth, but I'm not going to take his character away from him. He says, "You're all right, sir?"
Yes, I'm fine.
You look up at this half-orc. He's got sort of like dark brown skin, big tusks which have like piercings in them, sort of like hole drilled through them like gold in them. He wears a helmet, a steel helmet that comes down and joins onto his sort of like dark steel full plate armor. And he looks like he's got a look of concern on his face. It's just careful not to fall, sir. It's quite a drop. As you look down, there's still several hundred stairs walking down towards what appears to be a green and gold carpet that's laid out for you that rolls down towards the end of the corridor, the end of this hall, which sort of leads up a few steps, and ahead of you there appears to be a throne. You then look down at yourself and notice that you are wearing very fine, sort of like green and gold, regal clothes. And on your head you wear sort of like a light sort of like crown. Not like a big crown, but sort of like a light sort of like crown that comes around like a circlet on your head. And your hair is done. Your hair is actually a lot shorter, or it's tied up into a tight bun on your head. And you have no weapons of any sort on your person that you can see or feel. And you look around, and on the stairs there's several other people, sort of like a procession of people behind you, most of which are armed guards. You also look in front of you, and there's a procession of guards in front of you as well as what appears to be a finely dressed gentleman, sort of like at the front, who seems to be carrying some sort of like an incense burner on a ball that's swinging from side to side. The half orc, who appears to be like your main bodyguard, kind of pulls you up and says, "Just watch your step, okay? Wouldn't want the new king's reign to last negative, would we?"
No, we wouldn't. I agree.
Okay. King's moving, and he turns around, and then everyone begins to sort of move a little bit. Just as going, as you begin to walk down the stairs, they walk with you. You continue to walk, and as you give me a perception check as you're walking down these steps.
Do I roll with advantage because of the abilities you gave me previously?
Yeah, I believe so. Is it perception that you get advantage on? Yeah. Actually,
Yeah,
hang on. Don't you need to have the sword for that? Is that the?
I've got draconic senses and I've got the sword. I can't remember one of them.
Oh, it's the draconic senses. So yes, you do roll advantage.
Well, what do I add to it? My perception. Thing?
Yes.
Right. Even with advantage, it's not great.
Ah.
So let's have a look. Okay, I've got 11.
Okay. So with 11, you managed to pick out a few familiar faces around you, but not all the people that I would have said. So one main person that you do notice, sort of like on the stairs behind you, is your father. So you see Bronwyn. He's dressed in his finest garb. He's got his weapons and things. Looks like he's trying to mix in with the other guards as almost like your protection. Beside him is actually Kingsley as well. His other son, his human son. Some other faces that you notice. You see Camden on the stairs and Vidiana, both there. And you also see with you Yul is on the stairs as well. They're all dressed in very fine clothes. There's also on there. There's a wizard that you've met once before at Dondon's funeral. And he seems to have like some powder on his fingers, and he's going, yeah, it's good stuff, yes. And he's just seems to be there. Goes by the name of Balthazar Harkenstone from Illyria. And yes, so a few familiar faces that you're able to pick out from the crowd. A few people as well that you don't recognise as well. But everyone is dressed just in the finest gear. You hear trumpets and drums playing, which echo through this hall that you are in, and there's sort of remnants of sort of like green and gold and yellow smoke, which kind of almost bleeds in from the outside, but isn't too heavy here. As you also walk around, you notice two people that you do recognise, almost join in from the sides, almost as if they're late. Ralgin, you come in from one side, just behind your parents, and Grinks, you are led in through the other side, just sort of like in that same area. And you two kind of join in the middle to like on the end of this procession of people as you're walking down these steps towards this throne at the end. What would you like to do?
Are you asking me or Algin?
I'm asking you.
Right, Phil, I know these mists very well because I grew up round here.
Mm-hmm.
Would I recognise this as reality
You
or a dream or a vision?
You are almost certain, or you are certain, in fact, that this is not reality.
Yeah, okay.
You are pretty certain. The last thing you remember is the mists. It feels real. All of it feels real. The smells, the sounds, the sights, everything, even right down to the characters that are there. It all feels very real. But
So how did I bring myself out of this previously when I used to live here?
you got to the end of the trail. You got to the end of where it wanted you to go. You didn't deviate from it.
I'm going to follow the trail like I
Follow
did
the
previously.
path. Okay,
Follow the
so
path.
at this point, the path itself leads to the throne.
Right. Oh, right. So by going to the throne, I am not deviating from the trail.
Yeah, by going to the throne, you are not deviating from the path.
All right, then I'm going to go to the throne, but if I can go through it and follow the trail, I'm going to do that.
Okay, so you continue walking down the stairs, and the music continues to play, and as you get down towards the bottom of the stairs, there's crowds upon crowds of people. Their hands almost outstretching towards you, but they're being stopped by guards with spears who are sort of holding them back. But you've actually got a few almost like fangirls as well, like, oh, Ayla, King, Sire Nadell, have my babies.
I'm not going to look at them. I'm going to ignore them.
You haven't taken a queen yet. Choose me.
They're
Choose
not
me.
real.
And these are attractive. These are attractive fangirls, and fanboys as well. That are also calling your name. And there's also there's a lot of people cheering and waving banners of greens, yellows, and gold, which appear to be a colour that you've chosen apparently. Which has obviously been taken probably from your armor and the color of your hair, but it's it's just something that's taken hold here. This heavy green sort of like scene in front of you, and it's quite overwhelming. The noise of the crowds and the cheers. And Ralgin and Grinks, you two are here as well. As you reach the bottom of the stairs, you are almost walking next to each other at this point. as you get to the bottom of the stairs and sort of like stood next to each other. Raljin, you're just in front of your parents and your sister, who has joined there as well. And one thing you notice, Raljin, is in this crowd, it's not just it's actually quite a mixed crowd, thousands of different races, and you notice that there are drow, just mixed with everybody else. And it's not like they're all together in one crowd. It's a wash of just beautiful myriad of people, all together. No hates, no no discrimination, no fear. Everyone together. Yes.
With my detect magic, I can use it at will. There's no spell slot for it. So if I keep that up. Do I know that Raljin and Ayla are not illusions and everything else is?
Yes. So another thing that you'll have noticed, Grinks, because you've sort of like seen through the veil, is you notice that there's been several of these different veils that you'll have passed through once getting here, every 30 feet or so, as you move. So you'll notice as well that actually within this, all of it's illusion, and there's that seeming that you can just see through. I'm not quite sure how to explain it. Everyone has sort of like almost like a blurry veil to them. Raljin and Ayla do not. They are.
Anybody else in the crowd that doesn't?
Okay. Give me a. Right, depends on how you want to do this. Are you just looking out in the crowd and trying to spot someone quickly, or are you doing this gradually as you walk?
I'm going to move over to Raljin's right-hand side, just behind, half a pace behind, and I'm just going to take a slow scan, almost like, a bodyguard would, of the whole crowd.
Okay. So you with your staff of the Archmagi, so you sort of looking around and just taking a step. Give me an investigation roll, please.
That's not great. It's 16 on dice, so that would be
not great.
Investigation. Well, no, but I mean, I think for what this is,
yeah.
Probably want higher. So investigation is intelligence, so 16 plus 3, so 19.
19 is a pretty good roll. You look out into the crowd, and there's nothing striking you in the crowd at first on the left hand side, or and you look around the right hand side, and it takes a while as you're walking along trying to spot anything else that's not illusion. As you sort of like scan and turn around and look around the area, you notice there's another group of people that's there that Ayla didn't spot with his perception check, but you notice them. It's the council from Eladel. So people that you recognise being Valdin for one. Let me get my notes. So many notes. Lots of notes. Not that one. There we are. So there's Maya. There's Gertrude, the halfling, Valdin, and Shay. Now, all of them, apart from Shay, are illusions. Shay is not an illusion.
Okay.
Give me... what would you like to do next?
I'm just going to lean into Raljin and just say, cousin! And I'm going to give him a massive bear hug.
Okay.
From behind.
Okay.
I am convinced that this is part of the illusion.
Why wouldn't you? This is very out of character.
It is. And as I pull him in close, I'm just going to whisper in his ear, all of this is bullshit. It's all an illusion apart from Shay over in the corner.
As you say that and just sort of like looking around and trying to be nonchalant about it, you do notice just in the crowd, just as part of your perception check that you were doing before, there's some drow in the crowd. 3 that you recognise. Your mother, your father, and your sister.
My sister. I'm going to freeze at that point whilst bear hugging Raljin,
So
and just
it's
go
sort of like in the
really
middle of all of this is bullshit, and you
Ow,
just
ow,
spot them
ow,
in the crowd.
Grinks. Grinks.
They've got big beaming smiles on their faces, and they're wearing sort of their finest sort of like clothes. And yeah, your sister has a really big happy smile on her face, and your father's got his arm around your mother.
We're not in Elladel anymore, kid.
Yeah, no kidding.
Look, and I'm just gonna physically move him round.
Yeah, it's my aunt, uncle, and
My sister that fell.
oh. Okay. Well, this is what we do.
Whilst you're contemplating that, Ayla, you get closer, and the progression keeps moving. You get closer and closer to this throne, and you eventually get to these steps which lead up. There's 5 steps which lead up to the throne. They're quite big steps, so they're not normal. They're quite like large. You have to take quite a large step to get onto one, and then pull yourself up, and then the next one. It kind of maybe twice the size of the average step, but it's almost like it's a bit of a tower to get up, really. But you can make it comfortably with one step at a time. And you get up and you sort of step up each to one. And as you're walking up on each step, there's a different person on either side. On the first step, there's one person stood on your left side. On the second step, there's another person on your on the right side, and so on and so forth. Who all appear to be quite high-ranking members within the kingdom. As you get up to the final step, you are greeted with an older elven, an older human male. He's dressed in sort of like dark blues. He's got long grey hair, which sort of comes sort of very slicked back, and he's got quite old, sort of like straight, stern features on his face. Very clean shaven, and a high collar on his from what he's wearing, and a circlet around his head with like a red diamond, sort of a red gem in the center. He's also sort of like, he's got a staff that he uses to hold, sort of almost like he's holding himself up on it. He's quite an older fella. You actually, for some reason, you seem to know his name, and you instinctually say, "Go easy on me, Mormakar," just instinctually. And he just responds back with, it's not the first coronation I've been through, sir. It's quite a simple process, and once it's done, we can start getting to work on making this kingdom a better place." And he smiles, this almost untrustworthy smile, and even for you, with the wisdom that you have, you even see that it's this greasy smile that's almost, and his teeth aren't very well looked after either. He's kind of like, picture Jafar from
And the
On his shoulder.
Oh, this guy's nuts. He's like worm tongue.
Yeah, exactly. Like worm tongue. Yeah, pretty much. But you seem to have almost like a friendly rapport with him at first, but there's something inside you that just doesn't seem to trust him.
Is this a useful vision for me to reflect on later on, do you think?
Who knows?
Hmm.
He says, he turns and says, "There's only a couple of steps left. Just have to say the vows, hold the globe and staff, and then just drink from the chalice, and we're done. Then all of this, the party can start, and tomorrow we can think about, well." He kind of side eyes across to Grinks, who now you notice, Grinks and Raljin, you are sort of being ushered now forwards towards the towards the front, and to stand by the side of the king or the would-be king. He side-eyes to Grinks and says, maybe the day after tomorrow, you can begin making this kingdom a better place. Right. And we'll fast forward a little bit. So the next thing sort of go in a blur. I'm not going to make you do the whole speech and everything like that because that will be arduous for everybody. Unless, of course, you've got one prepared.
Nope.
No. Anyway, Raljin has one prepared.
Of interest, Phil, I know we're speeding
No.
through it. Was there any other magical blips? Because I appreciate most of it. This is an illusion.
It is.
I'm
So
sticking to the trail.
was there anything else that kind of stood out apart from Shay and us?
No, no one else that seems to be real here. Just Shay. You guys are sort of like pushed forward to the side, and you sort of there's kind of a place that you have to stand, that you are that you kind of instinctually know where to stand, almost like you've done a rehearsal of this. And everyone else sort of goes down the steps and joins the crowd, and you notice your parents, Yul and everyone else. They go and they join the crowds at the side, almost in like an exclusive area, but still with crowds of people. There's.
And I stood next to each other, or are we like either side?
You're either side of the throne, so you're about 15 feet away from each other.
I'm just going to shout, "Stick to the trail!" and carry on walking towards the trail.
So
I'm going to give Shay a dirty glare, but I'll play the game.
Give me an insight check.
12 on dice, so that would be 16.
16. You notice as you look at her, there's almost like she looks away from you, as if like don't look at me, like why are you looking at me, kind of things, like as if she's trying to not notice that you've looked at, like she's trying to sort of like put off the fact that you've noticed her by trying not to notice that you've noticed her, if you know what I mean.
I get that look all the time.
She's trying to be nonchalant. So as you do that, she's the one of the people that's kind of joined in the crowd. So she's kind of down to your right, just down at the bottom of the stairs, down to there. And
I'm going to try and put myself between her and Ayla.
Okay, you are between her and Ayla at this point.
As we're mingling, I'm going to make sure that I am kind of covering her. And I'm kind of going to look at Raljin as I look at her, and I'm not going to be pleased.
Okay. So, the progression goes on. What happens is, in fast-forward mode, you are presented with a globe and a staff. You have to hold it, and you say your vows. And the vow is said for you that you've passed the trial in record time, and there's a little bit of a personal thing towards you. There's a little bit that you've included to have put in there. Raljin says a speech. Give me a performance check, Raljin.
Oh, damn it.
I'm not going to make you do a speech, but just you do a speech.
Let's see if it was the blast of times. Right. Okay. Oh, that's cocked. I really wish I'd gone with the first one, but all right. Performance. Wow. I mean, that's an 8.
8. It's a messy speech, and people can almost see you sweating. You kind of stutter over your words a little bit. But
papers everywhere.
Yeah, you drop them and you pick them back up again, and they're not in the right order. So you decided to kind of like make it up on the spot, and it's actually you get a cheer after it, even though it wasn't the most inspiring speech ever, because that's the done thing. You notice your mother kind of wipe a tear, and your father just kind of like nod in your direction. And we look.
Head in her hands, just shaking.
Relan is trying to hold back the laughter, and And yeah, so your speech is done. Grinks, thankfully you don't have a speech. Ayla, give me a performance check. You're going to do a speech,
Okay.
but we're not going to make you actually do a speech unless you actually want to improvise a speech. I know not everyone is Ash.
Oh, hang on, it's a 15. Let me add on to my
Ayla did better.
I'm quite good
He is
performer.
king.
I mean, to be
My
fair,
performance is +2, so it's a 17.
17. You give a rather invigorating speech, a very inspirational speech to everyone, which talks about what you want to do to make the kingdom better, and how you want what you want your legacy to be, what your promise what your promise was, what your legacy is going to be, and how you are going to fulfill that legacy to everyone, and how you are going to make your reign the one that changes the kingdom for the better. You're going to make Anera great again. Mega.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. No, you're not going to say
No
that.
way.
You could have a better Anera. Never mind. So
I might have a cart. I might have a cart outside saying we're going to save 350 million gold coins a week.
Love it. So you make your promises and you talk about your legacy, and basically, and after that, you Mormakar steps forward and sort of like announces, and to fulfill his promise to the kingdom, the king will now complete his coronation and drink from the legacy chalice, fulfilling his promise and starting his brand new reign on the throne of Anera. And there's kind of a quiet silence for a while.
does the liquid in the chalice look poisoned?
I'm not drinking it.
There's a nudge. There's a nudge on you, Grinks.
A nudge.
Yeah.
In what sense?
The person next to you, who appears to be one of the guards, and just like, that's supposed to be you. Yeah.
Oh. Okay, I'll wander over.
You turn around and you see just on like a pedestal next to you, there's a chalice, a very nice sort of like crystal chalice, and inside there is a clear liquid.
Okay, does it look poisoned? I know it's all an illusion, so... But
Okay.
from what I can tell of looking at it, as though it weren't an illusion, does it look funky?
It's a clear liquid.
Does it smell funky?
Are you going to smell it?
I'll lift it up as though I'm going to be ritualistically bringing it over to Ayla, and I'm going to have a deep whiff.
Give me, it'll be, what would it be to detect poison? It would be probably go for medicine, maybe?
Or nature, I suppose.
What did you say, Ash? I didn't say anything. Someone else said something.
Ash did say medicine, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to go medicine.
Okay, so that would be 15.
15 total.
Yeah.
Okay. You kind of... There doesn't appear to be any scent to it.
Okay. From what I know of things like this, as I'm kind of taking I'll be taking slow, methodical, ritualistic paces towards Ayla. Where the bloody hell is Shay, and how shady is she looking?
Shay was, because you're now moving towards Ayla, Shay is down at the right-hand side of the staircase with the rest of the people from Eladel. So she's kind of stood with the rest of the council of Eladel. And as you kind of walk towards Ayla to present the chalice, she's kind of not disappears from view. She stays where she is, but you kind of move along so you can't actually see her because she kind of like she's around the side of the staircase. The throne blocks your view from her.
See, this is really difficult because I really don't want to give Ayla anything that's gonna hurt him, but I don't want to metagame, so I'm gonna have to just give him it.
But the thing is, I mean, if you have those suspicions, there's nothing to say that you couldn't have those suspicions. It's not metagaming. None of this is metagaming.
It's a bit of a difficult one because I'm not sure Grinks although he is of noble birth, he probably would never have seen an investiture. So he's probably just going along with any kind of play he's seen or anything along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't necessarily think he would have any recourse to believe that there's something particular with this point that with this chalice.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost sight of what's a chops. So I'll go over and I'll bow before Ayla, reach out with the chalice to hand it over, and I'll just say, something's not right here. And I'm going to hand over the crystal glass to him.
Chalice.
Yeah.
Any response to that, Ayla?
I'm gonna do a sleight of hand, and I'm gonna look like I'm drinking it, but tip it away over my shoulder or something like that.
Wow,
You-
it's been a while since we've done that play.
You have
That's
something.
usually you.
You have something in the realm of 500,000 people watching you, but okay, that's you go for it. You try.
Yes, but I am very good at sleight of hand.
Yeah, go for it. You can certainly try.
Is Mulrin assisting me at all?
Maureen
No.
isn't there, and that's something that you notice. Maureen and Sal are not there at all.
This
Even
isn't real, guys.
even
Let's
in
just follow
illusion
the
form.
trail. I'm just gonna follow. As I'm doing this, I'm following the trail.
Okay. Well, you've
Yeah,
kind
I'm
of
getting out
stopped
of there.
at the
This
throne.
isn't
You've
real.
got
It's
to
all
the end
an
of a trail.
illusion.
You feel like the
Oh,
end
right.
of the trail is the throne, but you haven't sat on that yet.
Right, so I've got a +4 sleight of hand. So
Oh no.
what do we not know?
Nothing.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
Actually, could I aid him because I'm handing the
Yeah.
chalice over? Can I give him advantage on this because I've technically given him a heads up that something's wrong?
Okay, I'll allow you to grant advantage on this.
Oh, brilliant.
So whether or not I tip it over
Right.
him or that's how he
It's-
wants to play it.
It's 17,
Okay,
and a +4 is 21.
21. Wow. So with advantage and the way that you kind of would kind of work this, so rather than tipping it over because that would make a big old scene, you. Grinks, you sort of stand there, sort of like right in front of him in this momentous occasion, just as this big thing's going on, and you stand and kind of block the view from the 500,000
Yeah.
people that's looking. And what you kind of do then is you will place the chalice to your lips and
Yeah, pretend
make
to
it
drink
look like you take a
Yeah.
drink and place it down again.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do.
Okay. After you do that, you Grinks, you kind of move out of the way clumsily, and
Yep.
you hear Molmakar say, "His legacy is set," and there's a massive cheer from everyone in the auditorium and in the hall as you are received as coronated as king. The only thing left for you to do now, sir, is to take your place on the throne.
Right, Phil, is there any way I want to follow the trail out of here? Where is the trail?
There's the only end of the trail you can see is to take your place on the throne. That is the only exit from here at the moment that you can see.
Can I look past? Just do an investigation past the front. I'm going to walk up to the throne, like I'm going to sit on it, but I'm going to look past it to see if the
Yeah,
trail
you
continues.
give me a perception check.
It's a 16.
There is a wall.
Right.
There doesn't appear. The only thing you can see is a window that's about 25 foot above you, and this throne appears to be the end of this wall. It's kind of like a curved part of this hallway which kind of comes in.
So I just want to stress, I know this is an illusion and I'm following the trail. And if the trail is the throne, then if the end of the trail is the throne, then we go to the end of the trail, which is the throne.
Okay. So you go
Because
to sit down on the throne.
Because I want to get to the end of the trail.
Okay. Give me, as you are placing, sort of like sitting down within this moment, all three of you, give me perception checks, please.
What, me as one of the three?
Yes.
Do I
That
get
makes
advantage
sense.
because I've got
20.
tech magic
20.
up?
Natural 20.
Not for this one, but natural
Right.
20 is pretty good.
21.
21,
Finally, a decent roll.
17.
17. Okay. 21 and 20 and the 17 actually in this case, because of your arcane.
It's a natural 20.
Yeah, and the natural 20. What you see, Ayla, is Mormakar backing down the stairs as you're sitting down. He's sort of like taking steps down the stairs in almost a hurried fashion.
Uh-oh.
Ralgin, you notice this too, and Grinks, you also notice this. Ralgin, you also notice, and Grinks, what you both notice is as Alar places his posterior on the seat of the throne, there is almost like red sigils that begin to appear on the throne. They glow, but for a second, I need you all to make dexterity saving throws, please.
That's more.
This is all an illusion.
It is all an illusion. I still want you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, so for me, dexterity saving throw.
So I've rolled 14 on dice, which I need to check which my dex saving. That's at 18.
18, okay.
16.
16,
23.
23. Okay. I mean, don't know how effective it's going to be at this point because you are going to wake up. But as you sit down, you see these sigils beginning to glow, and Alar, you kind of look and you feel a heat from behind you. You also notice it as well as fire begins to erupt from the throne. Grinks and Ralgin, you notice this as well. You begin to dive out of the way. However, you are all in ground zero of this thing, so it kind of and blows the whole plinth as what appears to be several fireballs going off at once. As it happens, the mist, or the smoke from the fireball is a blanket white. It encircles everything around you, and you find yourselves coming to in the centre of the forest, or actually, what should I say, at the end of the path. And in front of you, just as you had figured out during the illusion, Grinks, you see Shay standing there, sort of like hands in front of her, with a sorrowful look on her face. And yeah, that's where you sort of like that's what happens. You are unharmed, shocked because the fire felt real and everything else did. But Shay just kind of stands there and looking with a sorrowful look on her face. The first word she says, as you're kind of breathing heavily, coming out of this illusion, she says, "I'm sorry I had to do that, but you have to know the dangers that taking the trial and having the possibility of becoming king will bring to you."
No.
No?
No. Because, see, we know the dangers of the trial. We even know that there has been some mysterious goings on around the trial. This wasn't for our benefit. This was to try and scare Alar out of taking the trial.
She breathes and sighs. Yes, it was. The others might be excited to have someone of half-elven descent sit on the throne and maybe possibility make a difference within the kingdom for the tribes and places like this, but I don't think it's worth your life, Ayla. You're the only family I have left.
Wait, what? Another one?
She kind of puts her head down. I'm your aunt. Your mother
Ooh.
was my sister.
Yeah, I'd work that out.
Yes, well, I guess I'm not your aunt on your father's side. She kind of tries to joke it off. I don't think that taking the trial is going to be the right decision for you. Not that I don't think that you would make a good leader. You might. Uh, all I know is from you between the ages of, well, being born and 16, but and fair enough. You're a confident young man, and you seem to have grown into quite the valiant warrior. Many kings and queens have sat on the throne, and the ones that last, they're not us.
Then you change the rules.
We will never know unless I try. And a lot has happened since you last knew me. I've been through many experiences, had many setbacks, and it's from those setbacks that I've learned a lot in this world. So I have to give it a go, I suppose, because we'll never know if I don't, and I can't live a life of regret.
And
You can't live a
then
life of regret if you're dead.
No,
but he
but
wouldn't
it is
have any
better to live an hour as a tiger than a lifetime as a worm.
Dude, that was some Mulrin shit right there. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Tale of the Tiger and the Worm, the
You-
one that Morin knows well.
Yeah. You certainly have the wisdom of a king.
Sorry.
Love it.
Our
And I have my wise advisors alongside.
our path has crossed with this trial, whether Alar is to take it or not. We've had
Mm.
people who have made their intentions clear to interfere with this trial.
So you know the dangers already.
Oh yes, but the point is that they have an axe to grind with us anyway.
Doesn't that just mean it puts you even more in the crosshairs?
I think it means that the targets on our backs already exist.
Yes. That is true. We have many foe that we've encountered who would like to see us dead. And it is our lot in life to prove them wrong and defeat them.
I don't entirely disagree with you, Shay. Ayla should only take this trial not because he feels he has to for his home, but because he wants to for himself. That is the only reason he should be doing this. But we are going to fight many challenges along the way. And this trial, we are caught up in one way or the other. If Ayla chooses to follow this path, he's going to have a pretty good archer by his side.
And the wisdom of Molrin. And the magic of Val.
It seems like you've made up your mind.
And Grinks.
I like that Grinks just gets and Grinks.
And
Yeah.
Grinks.
Yeah, to be fair, I am the car crash of the group.
No. And the loyalty. And the devotion, the reliability of Grinks. No one questioned when I said the magic of Sal.
Yeah, but we know you think Sal is magic.
Sal is pretty magical.
Yep.
I've been here the whole time.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious if Sal was just in the bush next door.
Ah!
You've seen all of it.
I've been secretly been Ayla's fairy godparent this entire time.
Thanking the
Sal
enemies before they get to him.
sleeping in a book and finds that their nose is bleeding and just carries on reading.
Just know that this wasn't part of the trial. This was, and please don't take this as an attempt to harm you. It wasn't. My illusion couldn't.
No.
The most the Lonely Mist is ever meant to do is to lure people to a prison, which for you was never an intention. I just wanted you to see something.
Mm. No, that's
Everything
fine.
that I showed you are real dangers
Mm-hmm.
within the kingdom. And she kind of takes her hand and makes a gesture, and a male human figure, old, grey, slick back hair, high collar, just appears in front of her. This man is a real threat.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Tyron Mormakar. And he's been sitting on the council a long time. I don't trust him. I know enough, I've met him. I know enough to know that he's got his hand in a lot of jars. He's got his fingers in many pies, as I like to say.
Then we solve the problem permanently.
Look,
In what way
Ayla,
do you mean, Grinks?
If he's a traitor to the realm and as dangerous as you say,
That's the problem. He's not a traitor to the realm. He's on the council of the king, one of their most trusted advisors.
for now. And I'm just going to look over to Ayla. Councillors can be changed.
Yes.
They
Ayla,
can.
if you do want to follow this path, like I say, we'll stand by your side. But I do think your aunt is right, and we should take this time to really think about it.
Yeah, I agreed. Absolutely.
Because
We've not made the final decision yet.
I look over at Grinks as I said this next bit, because a decision taken can affect those around us in ways that we don't expect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't even remember where we were going.
I think
At the pub.
I think
We're
I
going to the
interrupted
pub.
your journey towards the to Wainia's wooden weapons.
Right.
Sorry
yes.
about that.
Um.
If you want to talk more, you can find me at the temple.
Okay. I would like that. Thank you.
Okay. And she kind of turns and kind of almost sheepishly just kind of walks away towards the temple. With that, we'll say that you guys can make your way to Wainia's wooden weapons as previously, unless of course you want to divert and go anywhere else.
No. I think this wooden weapon sounds interesting.
Okay. As you're doing that, we'll cut back to the Athenaeum, where Sal and Morin have been very patiently waiting whilst I got some of that exposition out of the way.
I need to get going in a second, Phil.
I know you do, so that's why I want to jump straight across to you.
Amazing.
So, is there anything you wanted to do in this time before you have to shoot off?
As I said, I'm going to look at the source of. I want to read up on the hierarchies and worship of dragons,
Mm-hmm.
like specifically red dragons, and try and start tying the pieces together. I'm also going to send a send-in spell to Ulrich, I think his name is. The Gold Dragon, if memory serves me.
Ulrich, yes, you can absolutely do that.
So send-in spell, 25 words. So Ulrich, it's Morin the Dina. I need to speak with you. Please find yourself in human form near the edge of Eladel. We will discuss further then.
You get a response quite quickly after a little bit of thought. Any information that you need to that you can divulge before we meet would be greatly appreciated. I can meet you there in a day or two.
I will cast the sending spell again and send to him. I suspect chromatic dragon interference in many aspects of what we've encountered so far. We have fought Vyloff. No, Vyloff? Sorry, we have fought the Vicious Whisper.
Arian.
Yes, Harrion, thank you. And I suspect more will unravel if we do not talk.
Okay. You get a response with, very well. I can meet you in Eladel in a couple of days. Just give me some time to get my affairs in order.
Wonderful. That's what I'd like to do. I will advise Sal that I am calling a meeting with Ulrich because I want to get some answers.
Okay.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah. I don't know if Sal has met Ulrich. So,
I think so.
because you all met Ulrich at Dondon's funeral. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I don't know Dondon either.
Yeah.
Sure, he was lovely.
Ulrich is a gold dragon. Dondon is a silver dragon.
Was.
Oh,
Was a silver dragon. He's now dead.
oh, what a shame.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
It was a shame. It was also Jay's previous character Korvax's father,
oh,
adopted
Oh,
father, of course.
so many emotions.
Love it.
Right, it has been so much fun, guys. It's good
No
to
problem.
be back. I will
It is.
speak to you all next week.
Yep.
So I am, as I said, running on 5
That's-
controlled child fumes.
I appreciate. We always appreciate you being here, and sorry it's been a bit bitty backwards and forwards in this session, but exposition must exposition. Next
I'm
week.
going to write a story about the tiger and the worm.
Oh yes, of course. I'm looking forward to the tiger and the worm.
Yeah.
Next,
What was the other one I said earlier?
I can't remember. Something.
Something about the worst fiery
Thank you.
taste or
The
something.
fire-breathing trolls
Yeah.
of
Oh
Randall.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's all we'll go for.
Next,
Hot
Oh,
sauce
that
story.
was it.
just so you're prepared. Next week, just so you know, is going to be our last one before Christmas. Because it's then next
Awesome.
week, and then it's the 19th. But I think that's too close to Christmas. I'll be busy.
I'll get
doing
my
stuff.
character done for that.
So yeah, next week will be the last one. Oh yeah, of course. So next week will be our last one before Christmas.
Cool.
Yeah, and we'll probably break off until January. So thanks, Ash. We probably won't be too much longer for the rest of it, so you probably won't miss much. So we'll see how we go. But yeah,
No
thank you very
worries.
much for this week.
Take
See you
care,
later.
guys.
See you later.
Bye.
See you, bye.
So, Sal, you and Maureen sort of gather up all this information that you've been doing.
I was looking for some books on poisons and things.
Okay. Are you looking for one specifically that has like the effects that you've read upon?
I'm just looking like for like poisons or mushrooms or things that might cause an illness naturally. I suspect that it's going to be something more magic. I don't believe for a second that it's an actual illness.
So, give me maybe an investigation roll then.
Ooh, that is a 17.
Okay. So in the time, probably around an hour that you spend looking around the library on different books, whilst Morin is doing things with his spell shard, you do find plenty of books on different poisons and things.
I make lots of notes.
And different mushrooms and stuff. Unfortunately, there's no recipe books, as some information, like Neonin said, some information is okay to have, but the information on how to physically make something that poisons that can kill people
Oh no,
is
I'm not looking for recipes. I'm looking for
information
ones that
about them.
would have the effect of
Yes.
something similar to what
Okay.
killed the queen.
Okay, so that's the really strange part with your investigation is you don't find any poisons that have that effect.
Oh yeah, I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting to. I just wanted to make sure all the bases were covered.
No, I like it. No, but the strange part is that there aren't any. And the only thing that's been sort of like documented recently, very recently, and Eladel has sort of like new texts on this, and they're actually all in note form at this point, which are stories of what people have told as they've come through Eladel recently, is about something called the Black Dragon disease, which is a recent outbreak. Which I don't think Sal has actually had much experience with because it was an earlier story. So this is Sal learning about it. So the Black Dragon disease is a new disease which had arisen recently, which had sort of widespread across the tribes within an era. It's actually the disease that took the life of Eli's mother. Who I can't remember her name now. I'm really sorry. But yeah, it's who was the leader of Eladel and Verta as well. It was in Eladel because she frequents Eladel quite a lot. It was Eladel where she caught the disease and sadly perished from it. And the disease had sort of like had sort of taken the lives of quite a lot of people here in Eladel. It was, thankfully it was stopped by a group of adventurers who went by the name the Slaughter Goths.
I recognise that name.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you recognise the Slaughter Goths. It's actually documented in this text that a group of adventurers who go by the name of the Slaughter Goths, and aided by a silver dragon, were able to infiltrate a place called the Mirrored Gorge and purify the water, which was how the disease was being transmitted, and essentially save the tribes and from this dreadful disease.
So there was nothing about whether this disease was artificially made or it was a natural thing.
It's very widely speculated, and I say that because it's not proven at the moment. It's widely speculated that this was created. Evidence that the kingdom are currently withholding could prove otherwise. But at the moment, a lot of the things that happened within the Mirrored Gorge, a lot of that information has kind of been blocked off. So you found out about the adventurers which purified the water, the details on how they purified the water. That information is being omitted. Almost like, the actual cause of it is unknown, or not unknown, withheld.
Something interesting to ask the others, because maybe they can enlighten me. But interesting reading.
So you managed to get all that information. You gather some information on some fun-looking mushrooms. Which cause funky effects because mushrooms, they're recreational. So
that's how I use them.
So you found a lot of recreational mushroom details on recreational mushrooms.
I mean, also as a lovely food. I mean, most of the food in the Underdark is mushroom based.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's nice to know what the local delicacies are. Not as much wine made of mushrooms up here, I see, which is interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, sorry, I've got a bit lightheaded there. Whew. Sorry.
All that sort of mushrooms.
Yeah, I've still got a bit of a cough, so I just coughed and it made me lightheaded.
No.
So, get my vision back. So yeah, you get all this information, spend an hour doing all this whilst Maureen's doing his spell shard. Is there anything? Are you staying at the Athenaeum, or are you going to find the rest of the guys? What are you doing?
Once Maureen's finished, I guess we shall go and find
the others.
Okay. All right. I'll jump across to the others, just so they can have a bit of a browse at Waynier's wooden weapons. Waynier's wooden weapons.
Willy.
And Waynier's wooden weapons, Willy. And then afterwards, we can have a bit of a get together. And so we'll jump across to Raljin and Alar and Grinks over at Waynier's. Waynier's. Can't say it. Waynier's. There. Waynier's wooden weapons. There we go. So you enter Waynier's Waynier's wooden weapons. It sounds like I'm saying it with a lisp, but I'm not. It's Waynier's wooden weapons. Waynier's wooden weapons.
Well, I'm Waynier. How are you?
Oh, I'm Waynier. And I can't laugh because I'll cough. Right. Okay.
I'm gonna go on mute.
Oh dear. Right. Okay. So you enter the building, and one thing you notice straight away is that smell of varnish and sawdust and something else that you can't quite put your finger on.
Lovely.
And the place is full of like weapons on the wall, and glass top chests or cases with weapons and things in locked tight. And other things, and a menagerie of different weapons. Any type of weapon you can think of, it's probably here in some sort of wooden form. One thing you do notice is a distinct lack of metal. All of the weapons here have been made out of wood. The only thing that might be metal or anything like that with these might be fixings or slight decorations on some of them, but nothing in a massive over the top like kind of way. And so different types of wood as well, and just it's got a very strong woody smell, sort of wooden workshop smell. Raljin, you're very attuned to this. You're very familiar with this smell actually, because it kind of reminds you of home. So it's it's a very familiar smell to you. As you take in the sense of this place. As you three walk in, you are approached by.
I'll be staying outside, Phil.
Oh, okay. So as both of you walk in, Alar and Raljin, you are approached by Waynier, who is he's the owner of the store. So the elven male. So like brown hair, I believe he has, and he's wearing his apron. He's kind of got his hands are covered in little bandages and things like that from probably splinters and working with the wood all day. He comes on through. He's like, hello, how can I help you? Wait, is that a? Oh, is that a whitewood bow?
Oh, yeah, I carved it myself.
You carved that?
Oh, yeah.
Can I take a look?
Sure.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't want to be overstepping. I'm always very. I'm maybe a little quick to admire the handiwork of another craftsman, but that is.
Oh, it's I mean, I've refined it a bit over the years, but it's always going to be a bit janky. It was the first bow I ever made, so you can only do so much. But I got here and I place it down on the desk. I said it's not for sale.
I wouldn't dream of attempting to purchase such a unique item. You made it yourself, you say. Where did you get the material?
Oh, my family owns the forest.
He stops as he's just placing his hand just over the top of the bow, and his eyes look at you first, and then he turns his head.
I smile and wave just politely.
And he almost goes into you can see him sort of getting excited. He kind of leans back on the case behind him. Your family owns Whitewood. Like Ashenoke, the town of Ashenoke.
I thrust my arm out for a handshake and go, Raljin, Arateeth Whitewood. pleasure.
It's oh, it is, and he takes your hands. It is
No,
such a pleasure to meet you. Oh, oh, this is probably the best day of my life. Oh wow. I've first of all, I love the bow. I'm sorry, I've only glanced at it. And he looks at Eli and is like, "Huh, you've got." He kind of waves it off. He's like, he notices Eli's bow, but then kind of he's looking at the real deal at Raljin at the moment. He's like, oh, I've had a chance to work with Whitewood, and may I just say, it is some of the most unique materials that I've ever had chance to behold. And
well, the story goes that whitewood can only be carved if it chooses to let you carve it.
he looks at Eli. He kind of points at Eli and says, "You hear this? I'm getting sage advice from the man who owns." Oh,
Well, I mean, my father currently is the keeper of the forest.
oh, father, son, you're bound to inherit, and this is. I don't want to overstep any more boundaries because, I'm very aware of the fact that I'm being a little bit more than overexcitable at the moment. But do you think that maybe you could maybe ask your father, or maybe just make some calls or messages or letters, send yourself to maybe have a little bit more Whitewood sense to myself, so that I may craft with it again.
I mean, I can certainly deliver a request for an order, but I don't really have the pull to get you any sort of free samples.
I wouldn't be asking for free, of course. My shop it makes enough money for me to be able to purchase some. It would be specialised, of course. I've only ever had chance to work with it once. We had a delivery down at the at Arbor's carpentry. He saved up all, well, practically the whole decade in order to get one piece so that he can make a piece of furniture for the chateau, and I was lucky enough to get a small offcut from this piece of furniture that he made, and I was able to craft a sword. And this is probably I feel so much pride in my work with this, because now that you've told me that Whitewood only wants to be crafted by people that it seems worthy, I feel a little bit overwhelmed at the moment. And you can see him it's like his hands are going backwards trying to find a chair, and he kind of places himself down on the chair. He's like, oh.
Sorry, when you say someone brought some through, my father's not ever been here, as far as I know.
No. Well, the carpentry Arbor, he ordered it from obviously your father, your father, and he said it was probably the most expensive wood he'd ever purchased. But it was for the lady of the chateau, so she obviously put towards it, and he made a half decent cabinet table thing with it. But it was obviously ordered in. I don't know if it was your father that delivered it especially. It was an elven fellow that came through. He had a bow himself, actually. Not Whitewood though. I don't think he was. I don't think he had that. I think he went by the name of Coda or something. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. He taught me how to shoot. I know a lot of people. Anyway,
it's such a small world. Yeah. I can't really see straight at the moment.
I take the bow back once he's finished examining it.
Oh, of course. Sorry.
And as I do so, as I'm putting it over my shoulder, I go, "This one's also been imbued by the magic of a dragon." Just
It's you're joking. It's
I go,
already.
I pull it. I
Yeah.
summon an ice arrow, and the wings grow
Whew.
out, and
Um,
then I let it dissipate again.
Okay, now I believe you. Um, that is like legendary status right there. I mean, the magic that's in that. I mean, I've heard things about Whitewood. I've heard that it has this innate ability to be able to conduct and create magical weapons. I don't know why people make furniture out of it. I mean, bows, of course. They're the bows and staffs and other things. They're probably the most common. But he goes over to one of the cases and opens up the case and lifts it up and takes out one of his swords that he's made. Short sword made out of a dark wood, very neat, very gorgeous handle to it. Looks like that it would fit beautifully in a hand, like in your hand, and wield very well. He brings it out and holds this over and says, "This is one of my favourite pieces. It's a short sword. It was one of the first ones I ever made, and to be honest, no one's ever come in and made a price that I would be willing to to part with this. But just he kind of holds it out really carefully towards you and just says, "Just feel the blade.
I take the handle, the hilt.
Just careful."
Give it a bit of a twizzle.
Yeah, and it's just feel the edge of that blade.
I very carefully run my finger.
Okay, as you run your finger along it, you can feel that a very light amount of pressure. If you put any more pressure on, you know that it would slice into your finger. More so than that of, let's say, a steel blade would, or a metal blade would. It says the craftsmanship that goes into these are they're more readily found. The wood itself, they're sharp, they're deadly for whatever you need it for. But may I take it back? And he kind of takes it carefully and places it back in the case and closes it down. Says, but imagine being able to imbue something as beautiful and sharp and as deadly as this with magic like Whitewood can. And I know metal swords, you can find magical steel and metal swords all over the place, and they are attuned from with skilled wizards, but Whitewood, there's nothing like it. It's just, I don't know.
It's yes. Thank you. So, I mean, your craftsmanship's exquisite.
Thank you.
But I was wondering, I'm kind of down to standard arrows at the moment. I was wondering if you had anything with a bit more kick to it.
Okay. Of course.
I could go for that as well.
Of course. I mean, all of my arrows are wooden arrows, wooden shafts, and wooden tips as well. But don't let that fool you. These arrowheads are just as sharp as and as useful as any steel or metal arrowhead. Let me show you. And he goes over to one of the arrow sort of like place where he's got quivers with arrows in. And he just goes to the little box, opens the little box, and just takes out an arrowhead, a wooden arrowhead. And he says, just hold this. And as you put it in your hand, it's got a certain weight to it. The same weight that a metal arrowhead would have. I accomplished that through just compacting the wood so that it's got the same weight. It's a skill of my own knowledge and design. If you compress the wood enough, you can obviously it maintains its weight so that the arrow doesn't lose any of its draft, any of its distance through the air. I can and if you notice this, and he takes the arrowhead and just kind of tosses it towards the wall, very short distance, and it sticks within like I say a wall. There's a target next to the wall, and it sticks in it. It doesn't hit the center or anything, but it sticks within the target, within the actual target itself, quite easily. It says that's without the shaft. He takes a quiver of the arrows and places them down. There's 50 arrows in here. All of them, I would say, of fine quality, +2. Well, I don't know. I can let these go for. Don't tell anyone else. This is a deal between us three. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. 50 gold.
I tell you what, my friend. If you make it 2 quivers, you can have 110.
His eyes like, okay, all right, yeah, I can do that. Thank you. He takes down another quiver. There you go, 50 arrows, fine quality, and believe me, these will not let you down. They're and they do have a usage. You can retrieve them, obviously, but once blood starts to seep into there. I'm assuming you're hunting animals, but once blood starts to get into there, obviously there is a certain shelf life on them, but they're strong and they're sharp, and they won't let you down.
Bill, in game sense, what damage are there?
An extra +2. They're a +2, so +2 to hit and +2 to damage.
Wow.
+2 ammunition.
I take one of the quivers and I just hand it over to Ayla and I go, I don't know when your birthday is. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much, Rosin. I will no longer use whitewood as firewood.
Wow.
I am not only the one glaring at him.
No. Wayne is like,
joking.
what?
Of course, I don't use it for firewood. I cherish this bow. This is my prized asset. I cherish it.
I laugh and I go, you made that joke again. You won't be using whitewood at all.
Oh, he's so serious.
You see that Wayne has a very serious look on his face as well, and he's like, no, even I will stop you.
Crikey, I know how to get a rise out of you two.
Is there anything else I can interest you in whilst you're here?
No, I'm pretty much good. Sorry, you said that there was a sword?
Of course, yes. From the furniture that was yes. I sold it actually recently, to a little gnome that came through. He was wearing very impressive armor. Yes, that's an exact description. Yes.
Oh, we know that wise little chap.
Oh, is he one of your friends?
He's one of our most valued colleagues and comrades.
Oh, good. I mean,
Um,
I almost didn't want to let it go, but he offered me a very exciting amount of gems.
Of course he did. Right. It's been a pleasure. Speaking with you. I take it you're Wayne?
Yes. Waynia Windspeaker. Yes.
Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I will. Are you able to send posts to the outside world from here?
Outside world being the kingdom, because yes, we're not a shut-off community. You know, we just.
No. I just meant out. You know, you've got the fog surrounding you and whatnot. I just didn't know how easy mail got through.
No, it gets through quite easily. To be honest, the lonely mist is more of a protection for people that don't know the password to get in. It's actually rather easy to get in and out once you know the command word to dissipate the mist.
Well, I will write to my father and I will tell him that you're interested in doing business, and then you two can correspond and see if you can work something out.
Thank you. That means so much to me. More than anything, you know. Seriously, thank you so much.
It might be a little while because he is on business, I believe, at the moment before he gets back to you. But Yes.
Anything. It's any wait. I've waited this long to work with it again. I can wait a little bit longer.
So, Phil, in games terms, the wooden swords, what do they do?
They have the same qualities as steel or metal swords, but they're crafted out of wood. All of them are classed as light weapons, though. So anything that would be classed as
So
a
would you use
heavy,
dexterity instead of strength?
yes. So
And I
they're
suppose they'd be immune to heat metal as well.
yes. Oh yeah, they're immune to heat and things like heat metal as well. Yes.
But you could set them on fire.
They also float.
Yeah, but you could set them on fire though, couldn't you?
You could set them on fire, but they they have there's like there's a smell of something within the workshop that you can't quite put your finger on. You can likely that's likely something that might protect them from things like that.
See,
Make them fireproof.
I'd be technically better with one of them than I would be with a sword. But there we are.
So, well, we're going to be in town a few days, aren't we? So we can always come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole idea of the wooden weapons came from the campaign that Mike had, and my character Bingo had a wooden sword that he purchased from the sea elves there, and he called it Rising Wood because it rose to the surface of the water whenever.
Are you really surprised by this?
Yeah, I mean, you can't be shocked. Let's be fair.
He is Bingo two-step though, so you know. But yes, he had his Rising Wood.
Don't say it a second time. It doesn't make it better.
It kind of does. Your reaction to the Rising.
All right, I'll stop talking. I'll stop talking about Rising Wood. Okay, so. So, right. So, you guys finish up at Waynier's. I'm going to say for brevity's sake. Grinks, what are you doing? Sorry, go on.
For brevity, I'm going to be because Raljin gave me the Ring of Spell Storing back before we left the magic shop.
Yes, I did.
So I'm going to store another sending spell in there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be, the coin trick on your fingers, where you roll coins over your fingers?
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing that with 2 rings, the Daylight Ring on one hand and my Spell Storing Ring on the other. Just keeping the dexterity in, and I'm keeping an eye out for Sal. I want to grab Sal when I see them.
Okay. Sal, you're heading to try and meet up with everybody, aren't you?
Yes.
Where would you be heading to do that?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Did they mention something about going to see the weapon place?
We did actually, yeah.
You probably did, yeah.
Going.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys head to Morin. Morin's going to cut off and head to the Blushing Branch Inn because that's where you guys are going to head off to sleep anyway, and he's going to do some reading. Sal, you head to Waynier's Wooden Weapons. Waynier's I can't say it. Waynier's Wooden Weapons. And just as you sort of get there, you notice Raljin.
There is a precious cinnamon roll and needs to be protected at all costs.
It's actually Waynier Windspeaker's Wooden Weapons.
Oh my goodness.
I'm glad it's not Waynier Windweaver's Wooden Weapons because that'll be even harder to say. Anyway, so you head over to Waynier's Wooden Weapons, and just as Raljin and Ayla are walking out with their new quivers full of wooden arrows, and Grinks is outside just fiddling with his rings between his fingers.
I just wanted you to say that out loud. Sorry, that's hilarious.
With his rings. Oh dear.
Oh, dear.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and yeah. So you see this as you approach.
Hello.
Sal, I've got a present for you.
What? Wow.
So I'm gonna theatrically make the daylight ring disappear in my hand, and kind of reach behind Sal's head. I know Sal's very touchy about the mask and everything else.
Yeah,
And-
yeah, yeah. You do notice that Sal puts their hand on the hilt of their dagger. They are
I know.
obviously trying very hard not to do that since last time they accidentally stabbed you.
Yeah. So again, it's not the usual flourish that a magician would normally have. And slowly, I'm going to bring it back. So performance check of 18, plus 4, so 23 to make it reappear.
I'm not even going to roll against it. Sal is going to be so relieved that it's not a murder attempt that they're very impressed.
And I'm going to hold this out to you and just drop it into your hand.
Huh?
And it's a
Oh.
little something from me to you. And I'm going to hold up my daylight ring and just say something to help you.
Wait, this is
Uh-huh.
like the one in your journal, the one that
Mhm.
helps you see better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you.
Wait,
You're welcome.
You're being very kind to me at the moment and giving me all these things.
Well, life on the surface is difficult. We're helping you adjust. And as Raljin walks out, I'm going to hold up the other ring to him. Raljin, here we go. You can drop another message to your mum. You did say there's certain information you wanted to give her.
Yeah.
So, 25 words or less, and we know she can reply for you. So have a think about what you want to tell her.
I will.
And I'll need that back when you're done.
Yeah, no, of course. I put the ring on.
Okay.
And also, Sal, if you ever need to get a message to somebody you know, I think you've mentioned somebody in passing briefly once or twice.
Sal's ear twitched a little when you mentioned that, and they were like, "Oh, I'll think about that."
So
Yes.
after Raljin's finished with it, if we're in town a couple of days, I'm more than happy to do the same for yourself.
Well, you're very kind. So there's no rush, but that would be lovely.
Just quick question, Phil, because I don't think the calendar's been updated in a while. What day are we on?
Let me check. Dun 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 dun.
Dun
Let's
dun
see.
dun.
Dun dun. Accalia calendar. The date is it hasn't been updated in a while. So, Battle of the Gigamox, ambushed by Herion. Then you arrived here. It is the second day of Dracus Tetra. So, yeah.
Where's the calendar?
So I haven't updated it on the thing, but it is now the second day of Dracus Tetra.
Second day. Okay.
So you're ambushed by Herion. You've been here. Actually, it might still actually be Mirus. So it's actually the first day of Mirus Tetra. I do apologise.
Okay,
So yeah, because you haven't slept here yet. You're still here. It's still the same day, or it's the day after. The day after the battle with the Gigamox. That was only a day ago in game time.
Oh my god, we need a rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You guys have done the Lonely Mist twice in one day.
yeah. Well, to be fair, Phil did reset the spell counter for me.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
that one.
So yes. It's currently the first day of Mirus Tetra.
Okay. Right.
But it is
So-
getting towards the end of that day, and the sun is beginning to go down on this day. So, what we'll do is, after you have all this conversation and everything, you've got a lot to contemplate and a lot to ponder over the next however long you wish to take, because there is no definite time limit on this, except for the fact that there are some people out there already taking the Trial of Anselm, so, you know, you might want to do it before someone gets chosen.
Yeah, okay. Point taken.
But they've at least said take the week, so don't make that decision too quickly. For now, you can all head on over to the Blushing Branch Inn and take some much needed rest. Maybe have a drink. You can have take the night, and we'll end the session there for now. And we'll come back next week, which will be our last week before Christmas. And yeah, we'll come back then. A nice calm end to the session. No mean cliffhangers for you today, guys. I'm not going to be.
Not this time.
Not this time. I usually like to end on a cliffhanger, but this one, it ended nice and calmly.
Yeah.
You've still got a lot of things to ponder. As to, first of all, a few things that may have been that have been sort of like revealed in this. That Ayla actually has yet another family member that another long lost family.
We haven't even really dwelt on that. We
No.
learned so much.
Yeah, so you actually have an aunt who has a different last name to you, even though Sion Adele is your
She
mother's.
got married to someone.
Possibly. So yeah, so you do have an aunt that you didn't know about, and you know that rabbit hole is something that you can go down. You can find out why or however you wish.
There's also two friends in this area that
There is
I
one
haven't
of them goes by the name of Neonin, who has appeared in this session. He's actually at the library, what the hell's it called? The Athenaeum. He's the owner of the Athenaeum, and you do have another friend that goes by the name of Relnor, who has a pet mole called Mr. Bits. Yeah.
We need to track down the Dragonborn as well. There's so many threads.
Yes. You've also got the Dragonborn to thing. What the hell's his name?
Party consent to spend the gems, so I can spend a week working for the dude.
Absolutely. So yeah, the dude. Yeah, absolutely. There's so many threads here in Elidel, which is quite nice because you can spend a bit of what you've always been asking for, guys. A little bit of downtime. Yeah,
Yes.
which I feel well deserved. So at least for the next session, you'll get a bit of downtime, and like running into this, and maybe a couple into the new year. But we'll see how things go. I'm obviously going to throw some story threads in there as well to keep things alive. But
Doki.
but yeah, Elidel will be home for a little while as you make this decision. But for now, I'm going to call it crits. Thank you very much to anyone that's been watching. Domesticated Moss, thank you for coming. Normally I give you a greeting. I gave you it in text this time. But yes, thank you for domesticated Moss. I can't say it today.
It's late. We've had some lovely wooden drinks.
And in addition, thank you to our 30th follower, which is amazing. We are now up to 30 followers. That was quite exciting to have that flash up on my screen as I was as things are going on, like 30 followers. It was great. So yeah, thank you for our 30th follower, whoever you may be. I'll look at it later on and find out who it was. But thank you very much for watching. But it's time for us to call it crits, and we'll see you next week. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.